Welcome back to part 2 of our podcast with Hayley O'Neill.
Yeah, your charity was very, very supportive to me because it helped me start to look at my self-care and about things that, make me feel happy and, back to the things I enjoyed, like reading or music or girls' trips back to work.
Really enjoy your work.
Yeah, back to work. So that was really good, and I think everybody needs to start off at that point. But then it's elevating it to another level of development, so that what I learned was about basically get all neurological here, but it was about rewiring. We talked about the spaghetti brain. I learned the science behind that because I'm a food scientist. That's my job at Loughry College. So I think I have a science mind. You're either right or left brain. So I was like, right, all this is great, and it's great to have self-care. It's really important. That should be a life skill for anybody, whether you're suffering from depression, anxiety or not. You have to keep that rest and self-care there. But the science behind curing and I suppose rewiring back into my old plugs, if you were to think of it like that, and the information that's out there on that type of stuff, I just found it amazing. I signed up for a 6-month mentoring program through another local mum who's a Proctor Gallagher Institute coach. She's like a life coach. So yes, I didn't have my knight in shining armour and I had to do this myself, but I got a mentor. So you're probably like a one-to-one mentor for your mums. I ended up doing a program called Thinking into Results, but that Thinking into Results program, it is what it is. Your thoughts become your results. How you and the problem was I wasn't thinking. I was in fight or flight. Your amygdala's kicking. Back to the saber-toothed tiger days, why our brains were designed the way they were to protect us. So I believe the brain's default is fight or flight, in those triggered situations. And I had to learn how to control that and to not get triggered, and about identifying what my triggers were. You were very good at that type of information. You addressed that with us in the program. Identify what your triggers are, either eliminate them so that they can't trigger you, or reduce them to a level where you can actually handle them. It's not a daily thing or a weekly thing. You're just cutting back. But the science behind that program really clicked with me. It was the science link, I think, because of the way I am minded, that was the point of, I thought, this is going to work for me. So as soon as I had my initial call with the lady, I was like, this is brilliant. This is exactly what I need. It was a lot of money. I wish there was a charity back then that did rewiring of brains or whatever. It was a lot of money. But if I was to put a value on the new 2.0, you'd pay it 10 times over. But again, personal, I know this now for life. This isn't gone. It was a 6-month mentoring program, and I have the information, but that was the chapter 1 information. The world is full of so much more.
Yes.
The authors that I've discovered, the motivational speakers that are all over the world, who have seminars on motivating and inspiring people, that's the sort of work that I'm delving into. And it's all linked to how you rewire your brain to be a more positive. People say to me, Hayley, why are you always in great form? They wouldn't have been saying that 3 years ago. But, people who maybe didn't know me back then, I was like, because I know the power of your thoughts is what was making me down, because I wasn't enough. I wasn't coping. I was a bad mother. I wasn't being a good wife. These are all things I was telling myself. I only figured this bit out recently. Our words are so powerful. That's why we do affirmations, right? So I buy all into that. At the start, when I was trying to slip out of a negative thought, I was cancelling it and reaffirming the opposite. So if, for instance, I was having a negative thought about somebody, I would have reversed it, cancelled it, rejected it. Like, no, I would have spoke out loud. No, stop, cancel, reaffirm the opposite. She's lovely. She's this, he's that, seeing the good in people, about getting back to good living type approach, So that affirmation thing I learned recently about, the words are called spellings, because that's how powerful they are. They put a spell on you. So if you sit there on a daily basis and tell yourself you're not good enough, I'm not enough, I'm not pretty, I'm weak, you will believe it. You put a spell on yourself with those negative words. If you then can reaffirm the opposite, you actually put a spell on yourself. It's like telling you at the start, you won't believe it. So I am so happy and grateful now that I am the best mum and wife I can be, is one of my affirmations. And at the start, I didn't believe it when I was writing it. So I would talk about writing out my gratitudes on paper, and because it reaffirms it stronger, I believe. So it was about writing that. And then all of a sudden one day I was like, I believe that now. I put a spell on myself and I convinced myself. But the link to the word spelling, I thought, God, that's ingenious. Absolute genius, because it's the power of your thoughts. And your thoughts become your things. Your thoughts put you in a vibration. So it's about we remember in school, you learned about everything is energy. So the chair, the mic, the blocks, us, we are all energy, but it's all about vibration, what frequency of energy. So when I'm depressed and anxious, I'm in a low state of vibration. And this program taught me about that's going to attract me more negative things. More negative thoughts, more negative results. And if I can lift that frequency to a higher state, you actually bring in more positive things to your life. So it's like bringing in the laws of the universe. So it'll go getting all woo-woo, but I'm all woo. I love it now, because again, it's scientific woo-woo. You know, I'm like, it's not just holistic things. It's scientifically proven that the state of frequency we're in, we're in a positive vibration, we'll attract positive results. So you'll not find me in a negative mood. There's no bad days. There's challenges, which lead to opportunities, but I address them. And I'm a big believer in faith of the universe as well, that if something happens, it wasn't meant to be. If it's something you think, I didn't get that promotion, that's because there's better awaiting. And I don't get down over things like that that's out of your control, and it was for a reason. You're late to work, might have saved my life. You never know. To me, it's always for a reason. But I was you in off alignment. You won't think like that. It's only when you're in alignment, and so it's that positive state of vibration to attract positive results. So I'm not going to go into a negative state anymore, because I don't want the negative results to go with it.
And we would talk a lot to mummies about their looking at solutions. We're often in a problem state of mind.
Yes.
And all we see is problems.
Yeah.
But if often we change that to solution.
Yeah.
Where's the solution? And a lot when you are mentally unwell, it's the dark thoughts, it's the negativity, it's how we talk to ourselves.
Yes.
We give it more room in our head.
And gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Just takes over.
And often it is that, as you say, the affirmation of, I'm doing the best I can.
Yeah.
Today I'm a 30% mum.
Yeah.
I aim tomorrow to be about 50%.
Yeah.
And it's often, we mightn't really believe that yet.
Yeah. No.
But fake it till we make it.
Yes.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Because eventually something will click there.
Yeah.
And mummies come into us, and that's what often they're in. They're in that problem state of mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you would have been when you think of it.
Oh, yeah.
But
you couldn't see a way out, or the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, and we talk about the pool of shit. You just sit, you're in it, you don't know how to get out of it. You talk about the mud.
Yeah.
But that's something you have to work hard on, Hayley, don't you?
Oh, yes.
As you're saying, it took 4.5 years.
You think of it again, a weightlifter.
Yeah.
They have weak muscles to begin with, and they can do 10 reps. And the more reps they do, the more they can continue to do. So they can do 20 next time, they can do 30 next time. It's about building that muscle, and this is a mental muscle. So the negative thoughts are there, and I've learned the technique of, right, I can cancel this now, I can stop it. 3 seconds later, it's back in. And I'm like, okay, right, stop, cancel, reaffirm the opposite. 5 seconds later, it's back in. They didn't go away in the first day I tried this. And my husband laughed at me one day. He goes, what are you doing? I was washing the dishes, and he could hear me muttering, because I'm happy, clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy, clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. He goes, what are you doing? I says, I'm trying to get rid of the negative thought. It won't go away. So I used this like a distraction tool. The negative thought kept coming in, and I was cancelling and reaffirming the opposite, and it kept coming back in because I hadn't built the mental muscle up yet. So it feels like a hard work at the start, but it gets easier. Like a weightlifter gets easier to lift a heavier weight. It just takes practice. And there was other ladies on the call. It was a bit like a weekly Zoom call type scenario where one person, say for instance, again, everybody coming in with different issues. A lady had low self-confidence, and I said to her about my happy song thing that was helping me distract my negative thoughts, and I says, you should start singing that there, don't you wish your girlfriend was hot like me? And you'll never believe it at the start. You'll be like, who am I to sing that song if your confidence is that low? But the more you say and sing things like that, she might start to believe it someday. She will start to believe it someday, because it's your spell. You're putting a spell on yourself, and it's about tricking your subconscious. There was a learning diagram on this program which nailed it for me, and all it is a stick person, a round head and a wee body, and the head was cut in two. Top line, as we know, is like, we call it our conscious mind, and the bottom line was our subconscious. So what we learned was your conscious, your thought comes in through your conscious. You won't feel it unless you let it into your subconscious. So it's thoughts plus feelings is your action and results. So I was like, right, if I can get that in before it crosses that line, it was a visual line through a half circle. If I can get rid of that thought before it goes into my feelings, I won't feel the negative thought. So that's why I was using the distraction method to sort of bounce it out, because conscious into subconscious. If it's conscious thought and you can get rid of it and not really think much of it, we all have those passing thoughts.
Yeah,
we think that
because we're human.
Yeah, but
negative thoughts will come in, but it's important we address them.
Yeah,
we don't ignore them. What's that about? Where's that going? And then how you can change that negative thought to sometimes a solution.
I know, to think of how a stick person on a sheet helped me. You think, how are you programmed? But I could understand it. Unless I let that into my subconscious. And the things you want to let in is the positive affirmations, because you say you won't believe it, but your subconscious believes anything you impose on it. So you could tell yourself a bundle of lies and your subconscious eventually will believe you.
And we would often,
as you say, fake it till you make it.
Fake, and I don't mean that disrespectfully. Sometimes it is that
acting,
repetition.
Yeah, in repetition.
And we would get mummies and would say to us, I'm taking my tablets every day. We've noticed a change in the mummy. So you're often coming in, she's having a 1-to-1. She's going over we're going over her program with her. She marks her mood, her anxiety, and feels that she's doing everything, but there's something not right.
Yeah.
Maybe doesn't disclose that she's not taking her tablets anymore. She went cold turkey. Oh, you don't go cold turkey, right? But anyway, I'm only using this as an example, right? And then she might then, a couple of weeks later, you're chatting to her again or reconnecting in with her, and she go, you know what, Una? I didn't tell you. I'm not taking my tablet. I wasn't taking my tablets anymore. I didn't want to say. I said, that's okay. You're not lying to me, Pat. You're lying to yourself.
Yeah.
Was that serving you well?
Yeah.
And often they go, and I go, but if it's not about lying to me, by you saying that, you're actually lying to yourself. That you're afraid you can't say. If you're holding that in, what's that? You don't want to tell. So I'm not taking my tablets.
Yeah.
My tablets had to work for me at the beginning. I'm not on them now, but they were my crutch. I needed them at that time. And going cold turkey was the wrong thing for me to do. And I remember lying about that. I'm only giving that as a wee scenario. There's many a time a mummy would tell you what they think you want to hear.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Nah.
And you tell yourself as well things that you think you want to hear.
And that doesn't serve anybody well, No. And you're right about trying to practice gratitude, and it's something that I try to do. Some days I am deadly at it. I really am. And we were going up to a conference there a couple of weeks ago. And I was putting on the makeup. It was early in the morning. Gemma was driving. We're going to Korean. We're away at 6 o'clock in the morning. It was snowing. Trying to get out through the snow. We managed. Put on the makeup. I had my dress on and my jacket. And the book and makeup spilt. Right? And I'm going, oh my God, look at that. And then I goes, okay. Oh, the jacket covers it.
Yeah.
That's okay. And they're grateful it didn't go down the whole front, because you can't get makeup off unless you put it through the wash machine.
Yeah.
And straight away I was sitting in the car going, God, you mad? Good on you.
Yeah. So you flipped from potential
problem because I was one of the people in the panel, and this big lump of makeup, looked like diarrhea, you know. And
but I think it's scientifically proven like, you can't be hateful and grateful in the same moment. So if you're feeling that little bit of negative energy, if you flip it to something you are grateful for, which was saved by the jacket, you know, it totally cured the incident, and it didn't escalate it any further.
No, because I ended up saying, Jesus, then
you probably pointed it out to everybody.
Jesus, look at this here. But you know, and I just, you don't realise you're doing that. And I actually was proud of myself because I could have went into complete
spin.
Meltdown,
Oh my God. Now, I was iffy enough going to this thing because it was
big deal.
A big deal for me. Yeah. And I could have used that to go even, you know, to put it all, you know, and Jesus, look and jam on your bumps and that. It was all me. I spelt it. I shouldn't have been doing makeup in the car.
I know.
But I went and changed that mindset.
You turned it around.
And it takes, it's work.
It is. It's a tough muscle to get started.
And you talked earlier about the gut.
Yes.
So I suppose this will take us to
where's the link?
Where you are.
Yeah. Well, I'm a food scientist, a food technologist, so the interest in food has always been there. I love food, love dinners, I love grub. But again, once I suffered for the postnatal depression, anxiety, that all changed for me. And we hear a lot about new mums, bring them a wee bit of dinner and, you know, their hands are full and do that. But that's really important. I can't stress that enough.
Ever.
Absolutely.
Better than a baby grow clothes.
Yeah, because we're not seeing to ourselves, as we talked about. We're making sure they're I got to a point. Everyone has their own relationship with food, but I always had quite a positive one. And whenever I noticed that go away and the loss of interest in food disappeared, and it could get to 3 o'clock in a day and go, I haven't eaten. Now, to somebody else, they were maybe an emotional eater where they're eating their way to 3 o'clock, where I was the opposite because of the anxiety, you know, the knots in your tummy. But now knowing what I know, I understand where that's coming from. So I believe that a poor mental illness can lead to poor nutrition, but also poor nutrition can lead to and exasperate your mental illness. So I was stuck in this vicious cycle of anxiety, depression, no eating, anxiety, depression, not eating. And then whenever I did eat, it was something really convenient, probably over-processed, unhealthy, and probably just shoveled it into me, you know, just to get on to the next job. So yeah, the 3 o'clock thing started to hit home where I was like, this isn't normal. Everyone's telling you look amazing. Oh my goodness, you've got your figure back. And inside I'm screaming going, somebody give me a sandwich. I am starving. You know, it's like, oh, you lost all your baby weight. If you see a mum who, 1, doesn't look like herself, 2, isn't coping, and 3, has lost all her weight pretty quickly, you know, we're not designed to lose our baby weight and get straight back into our jeans that we wore before our pregnancies. And people might say, oh, but that's a good thing. But when you are in good shape physically, but not mentally, you would rather be happy than skinny. Or then, you know, that's my choice. I would far rather be happy than in that size of jean. That wasn't important to me. My happiness was my importance. So what I then, again, through my personal development, learned all about the science of your thoughts. Then that brought me into, you know, how your thoughts come about, and that you need your happy hormones. We all know that your dopamine, if you go for exercise or you eat something happy, or getting a hug from somebody, these chemicals, these hormonal chemicals are released. Where again, the development that, you know, scientific research I was reading was all about that type of stuff, and it was about your serotonin, and serotonin's a happy hormone, but it's not made in our brain. So we think of our brains to make us happy, and it's our brain health and our mental health which you associate with your brain. But most of the serotonin that you need to be happy is made in your gut. People don't know
your body to your mind.
They don't know that. So the vagus nerve travels from your brain to your gut, and that vagus nerve is bidirectional, so it's going 2 ways. So that's where I was stuck. I couldn't cure one way nor the other because I hadn't enough nutrients or food in my belly to help that. It's about the balance of your healthy gut bacteria. So, you know, you need the good gut bacteria there to promote the production of serotonin, and that serotonin goes back up and makes you happy from your gut. So I wasn't I needed to start with the diet. And, you know, when you're supporting somebody through their mental health, do we ask them what do they eat in a day? Do we ask them, are they hitting their key nutrients? But not from a physical health perspective. This is completely flipped. It's not about the inches in the waist or the number on the scale. It's about your happiness. So it's about an apple a day can keep depression away. Do you know, literally, I believe that. I had a low mood one day. There was no reason. There was nothing wrong with me. I just felt a little low. And I said, Hayley, practice what you're preaching. I went and had an apple. I felt amazing again. And all I did was had an apple. But it's about getting the blood sugars back up. Maybe a dip too much, dip too low. It's about balancing that gut bacteria. So because I was in such a state, I had a bad relationship with food. I didn't want to cook it. I didn't want to shop for it. I would have went to Tesco for everything the children needed and not one thing in the trolley for us.
Like, and many of mummies going to listen to this, like, shopping is a pain in the arse.
Yeah.
I've got to stage now, I am sick of thinking of food, and you ask people in the house, what would you like to eat? Usha, what do you think? Whatever you want. I said, that's not on the shelves. I know. Because you're working, you're juggling a lot of balls.
I'm trying to be a chef.
So
variety.
What's your recommendation? Now, to be honest, now there could be mummies listening there going an apple a day. All right, Hayley, do you hear you?
I know. I suppose it's an integrated approch.
Exactly.
All right, the apple didn't cure me.
No. Right. So that's why we need to get that.
Yes.
I would have lifted the apple and hopped it off my husband, possibly, but
they'll end up pressing pause and going, what's
for dinner and throw them an apple?
That'll cure you, bye.
So an integrated approach for sure. I learned about, I didn't know. I'm a food scientist technologist from a manufacturing perspective. You know, how you make food on a massive scale so that it can go to retail shops. The science behind manufacturing them, not the science behind once it's in your body. Nutrition and it's nutritional psychiatry. I'm not a nutritional psychiatrist, but I've learned that much in this past 3 years that I've used the tips to help myself. So it's about once you ingest the food, what then it can do to start balancing the gut bacteria. So it's recommended that you've got like an 85%, 15% split. You're never going to have 100% good bacteria in your gut, but it's recommended of about 85-15. I was probably starting with 85 bad, 15 good. So it's about seeing that, you know, illustration in your brain of it. Right, here's where I'm at now. But if I start to eat better and slowly rebalance that level of good bacteria in your gut, then you can get more serotonin produced. That signal, serotonin is like a neurotransmitter. You imagine your phone will work without the signal. I wasn't getting the signal. So I couldn't think happy thoughts because the signal wasn't there to transmit it. So I needed that signal to be coming up. And because of where I was starting, can't even go to shopping. Don't want to prepare the food. Very good at batch cooking for the kids. They were having Sunday dinners and spaghetti bolognese and cottage pies, but I was just tubbing it all into things for them. I seen my hubby one day microwaving one of the kids' dinners because I'd portioned it all out for them, not us. Or go in, as I say, and just want to, in that fight or flight mode in a supermarket, get what they need and get out. You know, I didn't care what was, and they're so simple. Order online. But in that moment of despair, you just don't, you can't think straight and you don't see the easy option and you want to keep yourself struggling on and baiting in through Tesco.
As you're saying, you just want to survive the day.
I remember falling out with one of the trolley assistants because I needed the trolley with the 2 kids' seats and most of them only have one. And I was basically having this row thinking, you know, as an entitled mother with 2 kids, why was this not, I suppose it's like maybe a disabled person saying that there's no space at the door. I felt like I was entitled to easy access to this.
But you were on a mission too.
I was on a mission.
Yeah, you need to get in.
He was looking at me. I totally overreacted over that. This trolley was maybe halfway up
the line
of them all in tight. And I was like, I need that one up there. Like, who am I? I was just giving out. I was being a bitch. All right. So, but I got the trolley and got what they needed and out. Home prepared their food and I still hadn't eaten myself. So I was in really a bad starting point. People mightn't be as bad as far gone as I was. So I then realised I lacked the nutrients but didn't want to prepare food. So I started with supplements. I started with protein shakes. I started with multivitamins. I started with aloe cleansing gels because they were rebalancing my gut bacteria for me. The protein shake felt like a meal. So I felt like I was either getting a breakfast or a lunch. So I started with that. Then phase 2 was I introduced like a local, what would you call them? Like gym meal company. It was like a subscription, 10 meals a week, but it was brilliant. It was 10 different dinners. It was enough to last both me and the hubby all week. So I was having, say, a protein shake and one meal. That's still not enough. No. But I was starting to rebalance that.
Which slowly.
Which then ups your motivation, starts the signal going again. You're then more motivated to stay in Tesco's for 10 minutes longer, to start putting in a bit of meat and veg. It was like that slow progression. Start with the supplements, start with the meal plans. But then because I was starting to feel better, the motivation was up, I then started to introduce normal family cooking again. And the normal family meals at the normal times that you're supposed to have them. But I had to start that low with literally supplements and the meal plans before I was able to start with the dinners myself again. And
like not the affordability of the protein.
Oh, I know.
And we have a lot, and people won't be able to get that gym you were on about, or
I can't even remember. It might have worked out at about £4 a dinner, but it was good for me too because it helped me with portion control. Because whenever I do cook, and still an issue I have, I cook too much and I eat too much. So that was I liked the fact it was controlled portion for me. But then I was saving money on not actually buying or preparing any other food throughout the day. But I think anything to help. If it's a bit of convenience, but it wasn't like I didn't feel guilty that I was eating processed ready meals. It was a local gym had started a healthy meals company. So I was starting to get I was 33 when I had my first salad. Even as basic as lettuce, we wouldn't have been, I suppose, introduced to foods like that as young. It would have been very highly processed foods as children probably.
So we eating like spud dinners in the middle of the summer. The hottest day,
sandwiches, stuff. So yeah, I had never had a salad. I had told myself I didn't like salad. I don't like that there. If it come on a side of a dinner, I got rid of it onto somebody else's plate. Like a kid. Yeah. But I had brought that into my 30s. And that Healthy Meals company had this beautiful, I'll never forget it. It was called a Portuguese salad. And I said, I had to talk myself into it all week. And I said to Patty, don't eat that. I'm going to see. It took me about 3 days to convince myself to eat the salad. This is how basic it is. I had the salad and I was like, oh my goodness, that was delicious. I didn't just eat it for the sake of it to get nutrients. I actually enjoyed it.
You tasted it.
Tasted it. And you give your time. I got away with that limiting belief. It was just a limiting belief. I told myself I didn't like salad. I might have tasted a bit grassy on a burger once or something. Yeah. And I says, I don't like that. Yeah. I convinced myself I didn't like it. And now I love salads.
So what if, I know you run a program as well. You do a workshop or whatever. And we'll talk a wee bit about that in a minute. But what is quick tips that for mummies or anybody who's listening to the podcast?
I suppose it brings it back to your initial self-care. Have I eaten today? On the plane, you talk about this in your program. Put your own mask on first. Put your own dinner on first. The kids are happy with a toy or a saucepan. If, you're waiting to feed them and then you've heightened anxiety, you're probably not going to want to eat.
So what's good for the gut then? What kind of foods would be good? Because our gut is, a lot of countries would say it's your first brain.
Yes. Ancient Romans and everything actually say it's not even, we associate this as our brain and this is our stomach or our gut, but it is talked about as being the first brain and this is our second brain. And your intuition, about your gut instinct. I don't want to get all woo-woo again, but they talk about your intuition is God's way of talking to you. So you'll be feeling directed in life, you're feeling safe, you're helping make your own decisions based on your gut instinct. So we all know when we are nervous, how do we feel in our gut?
In the toilet.
And we're heading straight for the toilet or it's bubbling or there's butterflies.
The body holds us. We're so fortunate as humans.
Yeah.
But we don't know how to program or
well, if you were like me and probably had a really bad unbalanced level of, we don't know how much good and bad bacteria, we can't measure that, but we can on symptoms. So if you're feeling bloated, flatulence, constipation or diarrhea, headaches, migraine, skin issues can come out in our skin as well. You know, them's all signs that maybe you need to look at your gut health.
Yeah.
All right. So the signs and symptoms, you can't do a count, you know.
This is Fill Your Cuppa, the Support Together podcast, and we couldn't bring the podcast to you today without the support of Clarity Scanning and Holistic Health. Clarity Scanning and Holistic Health is a private pregnancy, ultrasound and complementary therapy facility. Their mission is to provide a more holistic approach during your pregnancy. Visit clarityoma.com.
So we could base it on our symptoms. And then there's more uncommon symptoms that people don't know about, like maybe joint pain can be linked, and people blame on arthritis for things, but it actually is linked to inflammation in the gut, so which causes then inflammation in the joints. So it's about looking at the symptoms now. You know what, maybe I should be looking at my gut health and starting a more balanced diet. If you feel that the bad bacteria is maybe proliferating and over powering the good bacteria, by introducing prebiotics, or through natural food products like your fermented foods, like your yogurts. There's popular drinks out there now called kombucha. It's like a bit of like a fizzy drink. Yeah. That's, you're putting in good bacteria, you know, your wee yogurts that have your natural yogurts. The gut health branding on food products, I'm a label person, you know, it's the job coming out of me. The amount of products out there now that have gut health on their labels is brilliant. Kefir, it's like fermented veg as well. So there is products, mushrooms, really good for you as well, rebalancing your gut bacteria.
Blueberries, is it?
Good for your brain, isn't it?
Yeah, blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, full of antioxidants as well. So they're all going to help boost serotonin in your tummy. Yeah. And that serotonin then sends the happy signal back up the vagus nerve, like, and you're in a better vicious cycle instead of the negative vicious cycle. You're in a virtuous cycle, I suppose. So it's about rebalancing the gut bacteria, eating those food products or taking the supplements, cutting back on things that promote the growth of bad bacteria like sugar or highly processed foods, because sugar's like fertilizer to the bad bacteria. That's actually what helped me stop taking sugar in my tea. So we associate with reducing your sugar in your tea from a healthy perspective, or I want to lose weight, or I need to cut back on my sugar from a health perspective. We don't think of it from a mental health perspective. So you're feeding the bad bacteria. The bad bacteria are multiplying in abundance, and they're like, sugar, 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 feed me. So they're multiplying, and then your good bacteria count's going down and your symptoms go back up. All right. So it's about cutting down. You can do both. You can help the good bacteria, but you can also help lower the number of bad bacteria.
So would it be that you're not even saying, you know, it's about a healthy gut? It's not about people going, I need to lose weight.
Exactly.
I'm going to eat berries all the time, and that's all I'm going to eat. No, it's about, let's look at your gut. You're healthy, you know, get your gut healthy, and then everything starts to in line.
It's like a ripple effect then, isn't it? Kind of snowball.
Yeah.
Once one.
It's incredible. Yeah. It really is.
Do you know
but
what
to
I
think
mean?
that's controlling your thoughts.
Yeah. Of course.
It's like a wee bad bacteria sending negative thoughts back up. That's what they're doing.
Well, you're off sync.
It's like the good and bad angel and devil on your shoulder. I associate that with the tummy. Yeah. You know, if I'm feeding those bad bacteria, I'm going to get negative thoughts.
You're dark and you're light, exactly. Yeah. You know, and like we're busy at work, and often we find a guy will go and grab a bread. I have a problem with bread. Bread. Because it's quick.
I know, convenient.
I know. And it is about having to stop and often go, right, how long here?
My advice is one choice at a time. So it's a choice. And in my workshop, we have a brilliant activity which the ladies love. It's usually ladies. Now, one of the workshops had about 4 or 5 men, which was brilliant because we all have guts. We all have brains. I suppose maybe women are just a bit better at their personal development and their self-care. But we have an exercise, for instance. Una, I'm going to bring you back to your postnatal depression days. Okay. You're at the worst day ever, and you just don't know if you're going to make it to the end of that day. I hope I'm not triggering anything here. But I'm going to give you a packet of squashies or a tub of berries, and this is a choice in this moment of the feelings you are feeling right now. It may be heightened anxiety, wee bit stressed. What are you going to choose? Squashies. Exactly.
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 Straight away to the sweet.
Exactly. And we all do it.
And the colour of it.
It's in the moment of the emotion, that's what we choose. But once you learn, as you said, that berries aren't going to do nothing for you.
At that time, I would have thought, when I'm in the deep depression, berries, it's dark, it's small.
You then learn what I can explain to you in very layman's terms. And you're like, you learn at school about fruit and veg being healthy for you. You get 5 a day. But you don't learn about it from a mental health perspective and the benefits that it can do for you. So you then sit through my workshop. We have a great chat. You learn what you learn. The next thing we're going to do is close your knowing doing gap. What do you think a knowing doing gap is?
When you know, you'll do it differently. No,
but you know what you should do, but you don't
exactly
actually do it.
Right. So I know it, but I'll not. I'll keep taking the sugar in my tea. I know I'm feeding the bacteria.
I know I should be eating them berries.
Yeah,
but that looks nicer.
Yeah. So it's nearly like a two-handed thing. One, you've the choice.
Just eat both.
Can I take one of them and then eat the berry and go?
A very on top.
So there's a big cream bun. I want a bit of that one, and then we'll say, sure, just half it. I'll have half of that, and you eat the other half of that.
Sharon's care.
Yeah.
Sharon's care. But yeah, it's about closing that no one doing gap. If that burning desire is there and you want to help yourself, it's about in the moment, the willpower needs work done. It's the hardest part, the persistence, but being kind to yourself. It's one choice at a time. Don't see yourself as going on a diet.
See there.
In the moment of each choice, can I choose better? So
can I choose
better? In the shop, for instance, if I am rushed, I haven't went out with lunch and I need to go in, I'm usually going to the deli counter for chicken curry and chip. Can I lift the Caesar salad? Can I lift a wrap? Can I lift a wee sandwich that's, not as, maybe still a little bit of bread, but it's a better choice than the curry.
Yeah.
It's like at each choice, don't see it as a mountain, one choice at a time.
Yeah. And even we would get mummy saying expensive things now, so fruit and veg is expensive.
No, I believe that they're convincing themselves that some of it is. I lifted a packet of bananas in Tesco's yesterday and they were 78p for a bunch of 6 bananas.
Good.
Yeah.
They're not your exotic fruits, possibly. Your punnets of strawberries have got dear, but there is a packet of apples is not expensive.
But what I'm trying to pose where I'm going to is your frozen veg.
Yeah.
There's stuff like that. There is ways.
There is ways of doing it, yeah. And it's about picking your hard.
Your rainbow.
Yeah.
Your rainbow on your plate.
Yeah, eat the rainbow. Again, you're getting a range of different nutrients there that's going to help flourish those good bacteria. Again, being kind to yourself. We talked about being one choice at a time. Also, every day, we get rid of our waste. We get rid of our food on a daily basis, right? So if you've had a bad day, as we all can with our choices, the willpower mightn't have been there one particular day. So not to think, I've messed up now, I have to wait till next January before we kick into that type of mindset. Every day our bacteria counts are affected. The number of good and bad bacteria in our gut. It can multiply from 1 to 1,000 in 24 hours. So by the next day, we could be starting off clean sheet.
Yeah.
Let's start rebalancing again. Don't let a bad Monday turn into a bad Tuesday. You can start afresh the next day.
Yeah.
Because every day can have a different effect on the number of bacteria in your gut. It doesn't need to, you don't have to wait till next Monday.
She's a fond of knowledge, isn't she?
Fond of knowledge is dull. I'm telling you. But we'll promote, you have a workshop coming up, so we'll do a wee clip and we'll be promoting it on our Facebook page.
I just want mums to have any little tip that's going along with their integrated programs, whether it's their self-care, their visit to counsellors, their medication. People believe that they can actually cure themselves. There is people on controlled diets for mental health. I learned a lot about that in America. They actually are set diets and believe they can switch their prescriptions. I'm not advising that to anybody, but Mother Nature is so good. They put our medicine in our food. That's how incredible our food is. Our food is our medicine.
Slow life down a bit and we appreciate self, and that back to what you were saying about a mother going, well, I'll put food on for me first,
and
then
Because the kids have probably already eaten twice that day.
Of course they have, yeah.
You know, they've probably had their breakfast. We've probably skipped breakfast. They've probably had their mid-morning snack.
I always used to prepare food in the mindset of Michael, my husband, when he was coming. Right, what would he like? Do you know what? I'm best putting on for him.
Yeah, what's for him?
Because, you know, grumpy when he doesn't get, you know, when he doesn't eat right, like he's a grump. But it has to be about me too. You know, and it's about...
You're important.
Of course. But once you're in the middle of all of that and trying to juggle motherhood and trying to find yourself in the hood, you lose. That's one thing that you either turn to food to comfort you
or avoid it.
Because you want to try and get back to, people want to fit into their jeans or want to hear people saying, oh, look at you.
Yeah.
You're looking well, and God, you've lost all that weight. And as you say, sometimes
inside I'm
that weight.
Yeah. I ran into a lady and I knew she'd been through a bad adversity. It wasn't linked to a baby. It was another stress in life. And I said to her, oh my goodness. And I was cross at myself because I said to her, you look amazing. Her answer to me was, yeah, stress is a wonderful thing. So she was open and honest and said, you know, she knew I was aware of her situation and I was complimenting her on how she looked, even though she was feeling miserable and that she obviously was not eating to look like that.
Yeah.
Well, what do you feel you should have said then, Hayley?
I probably should have said, you know, how are you? Asked twice. If they don't answer, if they just say, oh, grand or whatever, you know, dig a bit deeper. You know, is it somebody that you could give some food tips to?
I noticed you've lost some weight. Yeah,
or just say, I can see you're not eating enough. You know, like the friend who said to me, you're not okay. You know, you're not eating enough. Maybe she's living on energy drinks. You know, again, which is lethal for the bad bacteria. They love that. You know, you can create leaky gut. You can. There's other things. Your sleep, your self-care, your exercise, that all linked to happy gut as well. It's not just about what you eat.
I suffer awful heartburn and indigestion, and I know it's because I'm not eating the right stuff.
And then it's bringing the acid back up.
Which I'll need a book in with you.
Yeah, anyway. So would it be safe to say that how you fill your cup is to do with food? Or have
I fill my plate. You fill your cup. I fill your plate.
Give me the plate.
Yes. The biggest plate in the house.
Love it.
How do you fill your cup?
My personal development is a big one for me. So I don't listen to any news. I don't watch TV. I go to travel university every day. People laugh at me and say, what are you listening to now? I don't have the radio on in the car. It's always personal development material. Inspiring material, inspire new authors. I feel like I'm in a state of growth and learning. So that really helps me. Going to my work really helps me. I am surrounded by amazing girls, amazing friends. I have an amazing husband and 2 beautiful children who are happy and healthy. I also love the fact that I know now I am imparting onto them. So they're now going to be reared with this knowledge and information and you know, this positive mental attitude. I suppose that I'm trying to let them absorb in their language.
We were talking about earlier, it would be lovely if we could talk to the younger version of ourselves.
Yes.
And then as we had said in the office before we came here, if it just helps one mummy.
Yeah. Or even the fact when my children are at that stage of their lives that, you know, having those conversations before they have families to make them aware of what real life is like with 2 maybe new babies in a house. So but
you're being real, Hayley, like you have sat in an awful place. You have been in the dark. I've seen you. I've seen you at probably lowness. I've spoke to you on the telephone many a time, and you found something that works for you, and that is absolutely amazing. And I suppose if you were trying to summarise today, and if even to somebody who's listening, a mum, like probably at the minute that's a lot for somebody to take in.
I know.
Right, what doing
so
all
many
that
tips.
What you doing all that? Like, what is there a line or one word or something that you can?
Well, very much get in touch. I'd happily take somebody through it, and so if there was points there that resonated with somebody, you know, you want more, like,
okay,
I'm not a business, you know, I'm just a person. I'm passionate about. I think that passion. Go to people who have walked the walk. They don't just talk the talk. They've actually walked the walk, and be like, that person got rich by doing X, Y, Z. That person got successful by doing X, Y, Z. That person cured her mental illness by doing X, Y, Z. Just don't try and reinvent the wheel. Find what fits for you. Yes, I'm a scientific person. There might be people out there that's like that way minded.
What's that about?
Yeah, or
Scientific,
yeah. So, you know, to me, that program and that thinking and the brain information and the diet information, that all was my, I'm loving this. Hence why I've started now doing the workshops around it. And you know, when you talk about finding your karma or your dharma, your purpose in life, I believe that this has all happened for this reason, just to try and spread the word. One, about awareness of the illness, and two, about tips. It's not just here's the illness and it's okay, but right, let's now build yourself up out of this.
Yeah.
And about, I suppose the takeaway message is you have got to do it yourself.
And stay well.
Yeah, yeah. And do it yourself, work on yourself, and all of those problems go away.
Believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're worth it.
Hayley, honest to God, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure
Hasn't it?
having you today.
Thank you for having me.
And just seeing you and connecting back in with you. And we will promote your workshops that are coming up, and maybe you'll come in and do a wee bit of work with support together.
I'd love that.
Their mummies.
With ourselves even. But also, of course, with our mummies and our daddies. Are you going to do a joke, Mrs. O?
I'm going to ask Una Mary how she's filling her cup.
How am I filling my cup?
Uh-huh.
How am I filling my cup?
She's skipping away on there.
No, not. I suppose it's what, just to hear Hayley's like, it's amazing. I suppose at the minute, my cup's probably
a bit
getting a wee bit
empty.
I need to get near the beach. I find, and I'm going to share a bit of honesty, come the weekend I'm peopled out.
Yeah.
And we hear a lot of mummies saying they're touched out.
Yeah.
And I get that. I feel peopled out. And I sat with that last weekend and going, right, Una, look at that wee bit more here. It's okay always saying that and come the weekend, peopled out. What can you do a wee bit more? How can you help? I am a night owl, because that's what I used to grab a hold of when the kids went to bed.
Your tranquility.
And I sat there like stubborn as I'm sitting here and I'm watching this movie because I deserve it, and me going and I need to look at my, I suppose, sleep hygiene. So I have started looking at, right, I need to go to bed a wee bit earlier, because, and Michael keeps saying to me, Una, getting up early is a good mindset.
Yep.
So I know at the minute something I'm running on exhaustion. And that's because work is busy. We are doing a lot, and we are coming now to an end of a funding. And I know you get yourself nearly into that, holy jeekers, we need to get, so your mind is constantly working and come the weekend and peopled out. But I love people. I'm a social connector.
Yeah.
So it's something, I mightn't say I've filled my cup, but I've sat and thought what I need to do.
Yeah.
Like,
Planted the seed.
Yeah.
There's something going on here.
You're aware of where your cup's sitting.
There's no point. I'm here in the bubble. I don't want to be in the void.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it can all go shut creek.
Yeah.
So the bubble's there. I'm working on it. So
That's good.
that's probably why I skipped on there.
Avoid.
But it is. It's good to people to know that sometimes
your cup doesn't always be full.
mine is going down a bit because I haven't paid enough attention, and I'm very aware of that.
Yeah.
I'm doing something about it.
Good girl.
Super.
What about you, Miss Sue? Because you stopped going to the gym for a wee while.
I did. I needed a break from it. My head wasn't in it. And I've been back now 2 weeks. I've thought every day, what an under God, why am I doing this? But you do feel better after it.
Yeah.
You get the endorphins from it.
Yeah.
You do feel sore. I can hardly move today. Don't ask me to lift nothing off a high shelf because my arms are
Dead.
fucked. But I missed it. And I knew in my own head I missed it.
Yeah.
And I was in no rush to get back to it. I knew I would go back to it in my own time. And I definitely did need the break from it. I suppose work was very busy and there was a lot going on. And I just knew that I needed to go home and have that time at home.
Cocooning yourself. I think that's what I've been doing a lot of. So now I'm ready to act.
Yeah, I'm ready to go back out and I didn't want, like, with the conversations, I didn't want to have to go and have a conversation. I didn't have to go and stand and try and make small talk because I wasn't where my head was.
Yeah.
No. And I couldn't even go home and have small talk with Eamon because I think he kind of just knew she just needs a wee bit of time, and I did. And like I went for walks with the dog and stuff and it was grand, but I needed the space away. And knowing that myself, that I needed the space away.
And not being hard on yourself.
Yeah.
Because you're right back at it again.
Yeah,
You're going right.
I haven't given up. I didn't say, right, I'm going to leave and start again in January.
Yeah.
And you
know, she
some people do.
Refocus,
I was like, no.
recalculate.
I did actually say, I'll take tonight off. And then tonight ended up being 2 nights and then being a week. And then it was like the following week, I was like, no, I'm just not in that space yet. And then I was like, if you miss it for 2 weeks in a row, what are you doing? And I actually missed 3. And I was like, no. And I actually went back last Tuesday, my birthday, and I thought, what another God? Why your birthday? Like, I was like, I'm sitting here and there's 2 cakes at home.
Yeah.
But I earned the 2 cakes at home whenever I was in the gym. I went home and I fucking devoured them 2 cakes.
This is the thing about food. Bad food or processed food, it can bring communities together, bring families together, happy. It's not all bad. I don't want people to think that eating bad things. It's just about being kind to yourself.
Yeah.
If you feel a little bit bloaty after, it's because of the cake.
Yeah.
Or if you feel
You
a little.
can't sit and eat it every day.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
When we come into we used to offer fruit and all to the mummies and stuff, and like used to even the gatherings, they'd be like, wasn't touched.
Yeah, it's not comfort food. You see, we're leading from our emotions again, and it's okay to have that.
So today we're
allowed our
offered you
treats.
3.
I didn't take one.
I know you noticed that, but I mean, I'm sure you're like, look at them. But I thought, no, this is what our mums would often go when they come into us. There's where they take their wee bar of chocolate.
And they're getting happiness from that. It's about happiness. It's not about, so in the moment of that state where they want to be having a cup of tea with other mums, they want the bicky, they don't want the banana.
No.
You fire the banana at me, Hayley. I might tell you the truth. And I even remember the gathering days, and I remember spending fortune and making the fruit look lovely and cutting it all up.
Nobody
I ended up having to eat it up and home and then it scoots.
Too much.
I can't waste money. Jesus, a charity skint. I can't waste money. So that's why we have it, but I think it's something we even have to look at a wee bit more.
We used to be really good with the food in the office, even for our lunches.
We had to after the workshop.
But this is but we're notice. We've been busy. We still reflect a lot. But we've been busy. You know, we have a lot of mummies that we're supporting.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fantastic progression
that
we feel, but there's also a lot of mummies who are in despair, which we feel.
Mm-hmm.
So we are minding ourselves. Mm-hmm. But there's where it comes down, even just sitting on the sofa and going,
Yeah.
do you know, just to breathe, but now it's about us refocus.
Yeah.
Okay, we know it's been busy. Mm-hmm. What can we do now?
Yeah.
You know, get food. Because we bought an air fryer, Hayley. We bought
You're ahead of me.
We bought one for the office. And it's only been on a few times, you know, but
make more use out of it.
Make more use of that. And even that's where conversations.
Yeah.
Like we don't have all our shit together, and I don't sit here and I work. We have to work on it like everyone else.
Yeah.
So having this conversation with yourself, Hayley,
it's motivating.
we need to sit back. We used to go and do our shopping once a week in Dunn's. Mm-hmm. Cost us £30 because I get a staff discount because I'm a wonderful daughter. And Kevin, you're not allowed to leave Dunn's.
Work there forever.
That was we had vegetables, every fruit, with everything.
Real.
We had all yogurts. Fed us the whole bloody week.
Yeah.
And we've got out of that rhythm.
I know.
Never spending £30 a day and 3 sandwiches.
I know.
It's true. I swear to God.
I know. Yeah.
She's had it in the day because it's convenient.
I know.
Yeah.
We'll just run down and run up again.
Yeah.
And then, but so we're refocusing and recalculating, and we will. I'm going to hit the chair for Gemma.
I know, we're missing Gemma.
We miss Gem. All right.
Are you ready for some jokes?
Now, are you ready for the stinks?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're not too bad. What do you call a pig that does karate?
I don't know. What do you call a pig that does karate?
A pork chop.
That's a good one now.
I like the way it's food linked.
Yeah. Why did the bike fall over?
Don't know. Why did the bike fall over?
It was too tired.
Oh, very good.
Too tired.
That's you too.
Yeah. What did the policeman say to his belly button?
What? Don't know. What did the policeman say to his belly?
You're under a vest.
You're under arrest.
Oh my God.
All right.
I haven't. Oh, wait. Why did the man get hit by a bike every day? We talked about this earlier on. He was stuck on a vicious cycle.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, very good. Very good. That's a good.
A good mental health link there. Yeah.
Why do seagulls fly over the sea?
Don't know.
If they flew over the bay, they'd be bagels.
More food ones, I love it.
Well, end on that, and Kira, do you not think? No, that's good. No, don't go.
Right, okay, we'll end on that one. Thank you so much, Hayley, for coming down and chatting to us. It was
thank you.
amazing.
Thank
I
you.
can't wait actually to do a wee workshop. I think it'll be fantastic, and I'm really getting now the link for your emotions, and I'm amazing. It wasn't woo woo.
Yeah.
And you spoke amazing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you
down.
for sharing your story.
And it's a real pleasure to have
An
S2 mum.
Yeah. Proud one.
Yes,
Proud one.
a proud S2 mum. Is she our first S2 mum that's been, I know we had them in their audience, but she's the first one to come down here. The first S2 mum that we've had in for a podcast interview. So,
Super. Yeah.
Thank you.
class. Thank you so much. And we'll see you next week.
Yeah, myself. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
This was Fill Your Cuppa, the Support Together podcast with me, Mrs. Zoe, Kira O'Gowan, my co-hosts Una Leonard and Gemma Casty. Brought to you today by Clarity Scanning and Holistic Health and produced by 9874 Creative.